a guitar player that is so unique. He plays guitar very differently. And I always knew that, and I always noticed that. And I'm like, where did you learn to play guitar like that? And he said, Pat McDonald. And Pat taught him how to play guitar. And he just does all these slide ups, and it just makes total sense. And you wouldn't put it together if you didn't know that, because David's just a good guitar player. They're different enough, but once you know that, then you're like, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. So David comes up to me and says, I got to give you my new song. And I said, no, I got to buy your new song, because I've been singing your other 3 songs for 30 years for free. So I paid him $15 for this. Jump running. Woo! I wasn't puttering all that long. Somewhere I must have done the right something, and the engine started kicking out strong. Took her for a test drive down the town line road. Got her up to 75 and it didn't explode. They were on the tractor smiling, waved at me. I felt like I had just won the big Indy 500. Well, I got sentimental and I didn't want to sell it. You never know when you need a good spare. But exhaust comes up through the floor and I can smell it. And the radiator leaks and the tires lose air. So I took a piece of cardboard, wrote 475, parked it out by the side of the road, he pulled into the drive. He says he's been looking for a car like this for years. I gotta talk about the price a little, he was close to tears. He said, how about 500? 500 years ago, the world was flat. 500 years from now, we might be back to thinking that. And 500 something major leaguers never bat. He looked at me like I was a clown. When you talk about the numbers on the car, the numbers usually go down. But he wrote me out a check, and he drove that thing to town for 500. Little victories keep us all humming, but the world still spins if something goes wrong. So if you just get out of bed and start strumming, you stand a much better chance of writing this song. Doesn't really matter if it's about trucks or bolts. Just take what you're working on, write down all the notes. Cause if you're gonna live your life on a scale of 1 to 10, get a little piece of paper and a great big pen and write 500. 500 years ago, the world was flat. 500 years from now, we might get back to thinking that. 500 something major leaguers never bat. It's Mr. David Cox.